Hi everyone, it's me again. I'm Alan. Today we have a new guest speaker. He is Harvey Ng. He is currently studying in Columbia University, majoring in computer science. So Harvey is a year three student, and he just started his school year last September. So in our next two videos, we are going to go deep further about his life and his studies in the Columbia University. Let's say hi to Harvey. Hi, Harvey.
Hello, everyone.
How about we bring a little bit more introduction about yourself first? For example, how did you get into Columbia University?
Okay, so I got into Columbia University through the referral. It is quite
Oh,
an untraditional path where I actually have been studying in Hong Kong for a bachelor degree for 3 years already.
no. Hmm.
And at that time, am very lucky to be recommended to Columbia University for further studies.
Mm.
And I will spend 2 more years in the US, and then I will obtain two bachelor degree. So in total, I use 5 years to obtain two bachelor degree. So yeah, that's why I came to US.
So you mean this double degree will be awarded by the Hong Kong University and in Columbia University.
Yeah, two separate degree
Oh, it's two
by
separate degree. Okay.
yeah, two separate degree by two universities within 5 years. Yeah.
Oh, and this is not a common, it's not really that common way for students to apply.
Yeah, it is not common, and I'm not bragging, but you need to be at the top of the list in order to be
Uh-huh.
recommended by the dean of the university.
Oh.
And so that is not a common way, but I can still share some of my experience
Oh yeah,
in the
sure.
US. Yeah.
So what are your challenges in the study in this new or this complicated course?
In academics, I would say I was astonished by how talented the people here are. So
Mm.
the stress is mainly come from my peers, actually. In
Oh.
Hong Kong, when I study for bachelor degree in Hong Kong,
Mm.
it's not that hard because if you paid certain amount of hard work, then you will get the reward. It's pretty straightforward. And I believe
Mm.
for those of you who have been in a Hong Kong secondary school, you will you feel the same. If you put a lot of hard work, then you'll get the reward. But in at Columbia, hard work doesn't mean having the equal reward. Not because of the difficulty, but because
Mm.
of the fact that everyone here is very hardworking. Like it is
Mm.
the basic requirement for every student here to be a hardworking student.
Mm.
That's why, from the results perspective, it's pretty hard to get to the top. And therefore, you need to put more effort than you used to put in those subjects in order to
Mm.
catch up. And if you want to be the top of the top, you must have certain type of talent or certain type of special skill set, a genius skill set in order to reach the top. And that
Mm.
is why I feel stressful about it.
Mm.
And for those of you who don't know, Columbia is an Ivy League school,
Mm.
which mostly the students are the combination of the highest top scorers in the US.
Mm.
So that's why it's another dimension in terms of academics.
Mm. So, because of these challenges, have you ever, not have you ever, but have you changed any way of study?
Yeah, that I undergo a huge change in my way of studying.
Mm.
In the past, I spent a lot of time reading reference book. I spent a lot of time doing practice, past papers,
Mm.
and I will get a
Mm.
good result. But here, you need to develop a sense of independent thinking. You need to
Mm.
you need to fully understand the concept. What it means by that is that you won't accept every information that the professor or the teacher gives you.
Right.
You need to challenge every single concept. And to a point that when you challenge that concept and you find an explanation to answer your own questions, then you will understand the concept and then you will perform well. So, well, I always joke about it that sometimes when you don't know how to do a homework question in Hong Kong, you might go to search online on Google and you will find some similar questions.
Mm-hmm.
You know the way of answering those questions. However, at Columbia, you will never find a similar question on Google. So it's useless for you to find any questions on Google. And that's why the professors weren't afraid students to cheat, because there's no way that you can cheat unless you discuss with your classmate in the same course, but you will never copy and paste an answer to submit that homework. So it's kind of fun. And usually we need to like think a lot about a question until you really understand it, or else you won't be able to answer the questions. So that is one fun fact about it. Yeah.
Yeah. So are these assignments usually individual or group assignment?
Well, in the computer science major, mostly they're individual assignments, and you just need to figure it out by yourself, programming by yourself. I think I never had any group projects. Oh yeah, I did, but that is not computer science. That is for English course. So it's another topic.
Right.
But
Yeah.
for
Okay.
my computer science course, I never had group projects.
Oh. So basically, in the Columbia University, those questions are creatively created by the professor, right?
Yeah. And the funny thing is that some of the reference book that we use in Hong Kong might be written by some of the professors here. So basically they can just create some questions out of thin air, and there's no way you can find the answers on Google. Nowhere close to finding an
Right.
answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you need to buy lots of books online? Or you buy
That
books
is
online?
that is a good question. In our tuition fee, no, the cost breakdown, there is an item called textbooks, which is around 25,000 US dollars.
25,000.
It's around I don't know how to convert it to Hong Kong dollars, but just 25,000 US dollars for the textbooks. Because yeah, you need to buy a lot of textbooks. Textbooks is
Wow.
in Hong Kong, the term is reference book. It is just for reference. You won't die without it. But here it's called textbook because it is literally a textbook that you need to use in the class.
Wow.
However, I'm not those type of person who purchase a book that I might not ever going to use it after the course. So I usually just try to find a PDF or trying to ask some of my seniors to pass on the PDF or whatsoever so that I can cut down some of my costs. And I try to borrow it from the library, but yeah, that is another long story that you need to borrow those books prior like 2 months before your semester starts. So that is another story. But
Oh,
basically, yeah, we need to buy books, but I don't because it is so expensive.
it's so expensive. It was like I just make a quick calculation. It is almost 200,000 Hong Kong dollars
Yeah.
for
Well,
all the
yeah.
textbook.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it is a total cost of the 4 years curriculum or it is just the dissection, but I didn't really calculate the cost, but it's
Oh,
around that. You can
crazy.
think of that we we take 5 courses per semester, and each course have 1 to 2 reference textbook, and each textbook costs around $1,000. Maybe my calculations were wrong, but
Yeah.
it is still expensive.
But the school will still provide you the handouts, right? The handouts of like the PowerPoint slides, right?
That is another good question. No, they don't provide handouts. There is no such thing as PowerPoint.
Okay.
Well, I did mention it in my video, but I could explain it a little bit further. In the US, unlike what we experience in Hong Kong, we might have PowerPoints, a very well organized notes,
Right.
handouts, worksheets, those
Love
kind of
it.
stuff.
Yeah.
But here, you just have a whiteboard, iPad, or blackboard for the professor to write something on it, and you just need to copy that down in your own way. So basically, if you don't copy the notes, you don't jot your own notes, you gain nothing from the professor. So besides the textbook, of course, you can read the textbook any way you want, but basically you won't see anything such as PowerPoint, handouts, worksheets, something like that. Yeah. And that is the
Are
reason.
you allowed to do the recording?
I think so. Well, yeah, I
Okay.
guess.
Okay.
Well, I'm not sure if it would violate any US law,
Okay.
but I guess it won't harm anyone if you do so, unless you
For
record
internal
in,
use, private use.
yeah, for private or internal use, or maybe you switch off your camera, just record the voice.
Right.
Maybe that helped. Well, I did it. I did record some of my course. But most of the time, we need to drop our own notes. And that is the reason why I was astonished I still recall my first day taking the
Yeah.
course,
Right.
because I told you before, I studied in Hong Kong for a lot of years. And then the first day, which is talking about introduction and syllabus, those kind of stuff.
Right.
We didn't even actually get into the course materials. And the first sentence that the professor said about, like, hello everyone, this is the syllabus, blah, blah, blah. And everyone just started type and started like use their iPad to jot notes. And I was like, what do you need to jot down? Is it my problem? Like the lecture hall is full of typing and writing. And that is the reason why I feel like everyone have a great notes taking skills. And that's the reason why the school will actually buy our notes in return. That is a very interesting fact.
Buy
If
your
you feel,
note.
yeah, buy the university will buy notes from the students. Like if you take a course, like course for mathematics, for example,
Wow.
and then people will write their own notes. And if you are confident enough to say your notes are pretty well organized, very informative, then you can submit your notes to the university. There is an online platform for that, and submit your notes. And then if they think you're qualified, then they will pay for your notes in order to give those notes to those in need. Well, in need meaning disability, a learning disability, those kind of people in need. But that is a
But
good
can
thing.
but can students buy those notes?
Normal student cannot.
Okay, no.
Normal student cannot. They are mainly for disabilities, or the first the so-called the first generation university students. Like you're the first one to get into the university in your whole family, and those kind of people you can have those notes. But yeah, that is a very fun fact, and they pay well
How much
for
is it?
real.
How much is it?
I guess it's around 1,000 to 2,000 USD, HKD, Hong Kong dollars, Hong
Okay,
Kong
Hong Kong
dollars, a
dollars.
thousand to 2,000 Hong Kong dollars.
Oh,
But that is very worth it. If you think
yeah.
of that, like you eventually you write the notes for yourself, and then after you finish using your notes, you can just give it to the university, and then they will pay you back.
Yeah.
It's better than recycle your notes, right? Yeah,
Exactly, exactly. And then you have your notes and you can also helping the others in need. Yeah.
yeah.
And I'm really glad that not the normal students could buy this. Otherwise, this will become another another business model for the
Yeah,
university
yeah,
student.
yeah, that's true. But I doubt that normal student would need it. I think most of the people are very confident in their own note-taking skills in some way. Yeah, but that is another story.
Yeah, but then how do you manage your time? Well, as a so as you just said that like you need to also pay attention to note taking, Well, you have a lot of readings, books, a lot of things to do. How do you manage your time there?
Uh, I think, hmm, I think, well, we will just need to plan ahead. I think that that is a very silly answer. But for real, I think when you get used to the pace, when you just try to do things ahead of the deadline, then you
Mm,
will get used to it. But for real, I think I already stopped playing video games at some point, and my
mm,
entertainment is just doing sports or hang out with friends. But
mm,
most of the time, I will use it for reading. And at some point, because the I think the most difficult part is around the first few months when you need to adapt this change. But
mm,
once you get used to the amount of readings, then just you will just be able to handle
mm,
those time.
yeah.
But I think one very crucial point is that you need to keep track of all the deadlines and try not to finish your work around the deadline because they are very generous. They will give you plenty of time, like 3 weeks to a month to finish an assignment. But that assignment might only require you like at most a day or two to finish.
Mm,
So you have no reason to procrastinate. Just try to finish it before the deadline.
mm.
Yeah.
How are the proportions of your proportion of assignment and well, I mean the ratio between the assignment and the examination?
Uh, I think there is a very good analogy to that is you can think of it as secondary school. It's pretty
Mm,
similar. It's pretty similar. Our homework assignment basically around one assignment per two lessons. So after taking two lessons, then you will get an assignment. And sometimes you will have classwork as well, like a
mm,
short assignment.
mm,
So it's pretty much like secondary school. But what's different is that you are taking courses with university level difficulty. And
mm,
the readings are very intense. Yeah, so that is the major difference.
mm. That's why the students who like to study in the Ivy League school in the Columbia University, they will need to have a really good reading skills. They need to equip themselves with a really good readings and writing
Yeah,
as
yeah.
well.
Yeah, speaking of writing, I feel like they have a very high standard
Mm,
in writing. They require
mm,
students to write academic essays, which I would say I never learned those skills of writing in Hong Kong in my 20 years
ah,
of 18 years of education in Hong Kong. I never heard of those skills, and I don't know why Hong Kong won't teach those skills. But in the end, I think those skills are very beneficial in writing and helps a lot.
mm.
And we have a entrance exam where we need to write an academic essay before we admit to the school. And
Oh, okay.
they will scale your English level, not like IELTS or TOEFLs. They are their own metric of scaling students' English performance in writing. If you lower than level 8, then you won't be able to get into the university. No matter you have a perfect interview, you have a perfect CV, perfect score. If
Right.
you failed that entrance essay exam, then you have no chance in getting in. And yeah, even well, if you really want to know how difficult it is, I can take an example. I know one
Mm.
senior friend that her DSE score is strict 5 star in English, but she only get 9 out of 10 in that entrance exam.
Wow.
So yeah, if you got 9, you need to take extra course for writing. But yeah, so yeah, that is very intense.
Mm. So wow, that's how do you prepare? How to make sure prepare yourself with that academic writing skills?
Well, I think how do I prepare for that writing skills is pretty similar to how I prepare for other course. It's basically don't hesitate to ask professors when you need help. They are more than welcome to answer your questions. If you don't understand a topic, if you don't understand a concept, if you don't understand a prompt, go ask the professors. They will be more than welcome to explain it until you understand what you need to do. And they like drafts, by the way. I don't know if Hong Kong Life draft, they will have 3 to 4 drafts until you submit the final essay. So that you have actually a pretty good amount of time to develop in your writing and understand what are your mistakes, what you need to improve, and then you submit the final draft. This is usually how it goes. Yeah, but basically, in a general perspective, they give you a lot of resources. If you don't understand something, you have office hours. If you need help, you can find seniors to help in academic centers. So I think, yeah, you need to ask for help, basically.
Well, so far, what I have heard from you, Harvey, is that the proactiveness of learning is really important. You have to be really proactive in jotting the notes and listening to the lectures. You can't just rely on well, you have no more handouts to rely on. You have to be really proactive to ask the professors about the questions. Like even in like during the 4 stages of drafting, proactive to manage your time, no more video games, do something more outdoor to release your stress, to make sure those activities will help you to recharge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, for the recharge part, I think it differs from different people, just that I don't like playing video games. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Harvey, for the sharing today. And I really enjoy this episode a lot because a lot of insider views and advice that you have for us today. So actually, I still have some more questions, but the time is limited. So probably I will leave these questions to the next episode. And the next episode will be more about his life and entertainment in New York. So I will see you all next time. Bye bye.
See you. Bye.